So this is my program for week 8 light sequence program for writing files. Um, so I'll start with my loop. So in my while true loop, it'll start with the welcome prompt. So welcome follow through the prompts to create your light sequence to quit enter quit. And then I have my choosing colors prompt, which prompts the user to choose colors and then list them. And then if the user input for this prompt equals quit, it'll break, and then or otherwise it will go through and call the light selections function. So I have a while true loop here. That way, only these inputs will be allowed for the answers. Otherwise, it'll print select a color from the provided list. Um, when one of the answers, when one of the correct inputs is entered from the list, it indexes the list or the light from the list, and then adds it to it's called the chosen lights list. But I just put variables because they're being called outside of the loop before they're declared, and this is just the way around that. So the chosen lights list will be added here, and then it'll print the chosen lights list so the user can see what they've added so far. Otherwise, the user will be told to select a color from the provided list. And then it goes on to choosing our user input for the on delay timers. So I try and accept prompts the user for a float input or a number value, basically. So anything outside of that, if they put that, they'll pop up a value error. I use try and accept to work around that, so it didn't break them from the loop. If they want to break the loop, they'll have to enter 1, 2, 3, 4, since it is the user input is being used for a float. So it will take the user input and then add that to it'll add that to the on time list, which is back up here, and that will just be a list that will be written to the text file, and then it'll print it so the user can see what they have so far for that list. And then if the value error pops up and they enter anything but a number, it'll print value or number values only may be entered. It'll remove the previous items from the list because it had issues trying to loop back to specific parts of the list. Instead, it only wants to go back from the beginning. So to work with that, if this happens, I'll remove everything from the previous list so they could start over clean without getting out of sync of their values. And then it'll prompt for the off time delays, same exact concept, everything's pretty much the same. The only difference is the user input values being appended to the off time list from the top. And then after it goes through all that, the user will be asked if they want to add another light. If the user says quit, it'll break the loop. If the user says yes to adding another light, it'll bring them back to the beginning prompt of enter an LED color. If the user says no, it'll prompt them another question. Would you like to save before you exit? If the user says yes, it will print out the lists that the user has occurred in a more formatted, user-friendly way. So print out LEDs, chosen lights, and then on delay timers and then print the on time list. Off delay timers, it'll print the off time list, and then it'll tell them what their file name will be saved as. So your file will be saved as mylightsequence.txt. And then within the same milliseconds, the it'll open and write to a file which doesn't exist yet, but it'll make it exist with the my light sequence, and then it'll write in a more formatted way. So LEDs equals chosen lights, on delays equals on time, and off delays equals off time. So that way it'll be easier to pull and read from a different program, or just if they open it up and want to look at it with their own eyes. If the reply is no, oh, and then it'll break the loop right after. But if the reply is no, it won't save it, and it'll say you're closing the sequencing program, goodbye, and it'll just break the loop without saving anything. So we'll go through the program to show. Oh. I put it as test just so it's easier for me to type a million times while I test it. Okay, so it asks me, so prompts welcome, follow through the prompts to create your light sequence, to quit, enter quit. And then choose an LED color, so I'll do red. And it's enter seconds you want. You can insert decimal, and then 1, 2, 3 to quit. 1, 2, 3, 4. So put 1 second for on, 0 for off to keep the light on. And then, yes, I want to enter another light, blue, and I'll just keep all of them on. Oh yes, I would like to quit. Oh no, I do not want to enter because I have 4. I'm only gonna have 4 LEDs. And then it asks, would you like to save before you exit? And I'll say yes. And then it will, and then it shows me your current list are such LEDs, and then prints the list of LEDs in the order that I inserted them. On delay timers, same. The list that I inserted them, off delay timers list, and then your file will be saved as my light sequence.txt. So if I go to I will have my light sequence, and it is the exact same as the inserted list. So LEDs, red, blue, green, yellow, all ones for on delays, and all zeros for off delays. Yep, and that is my user input program for a light sequence.